They use those offensively against their neighbors. Dukakis has never called a hand on it. I'd like to call
Either has George Bush, sir.
Say again?
Either has George Bush.
Well, I put him in the same pot if he deserves it, because we don't want favors for foreign countries where they come from the Republicans.
May I assume, sir, that your organization supports the election of George Bush?
Oh, no. No, we are non-political, and we're not taking a...
Will you be doing the exact same thing at the Republican National Convention? And can I anticipate literature from your organization suggesting that George Bush may be Jewish?
No, I don't know anything about George Bush. I don't think he's been accused of it.
You don't know anything at all about George Bush, sir?
Not of his background. I think he comes from some very wealthy New England Anglo-Saxon people, as far as I know.
Uh-huh.
But the issue, Bob, is really...
Well, Michael Dukakis comes from some very poor Greek people.
Well, Dukakis is a name. It's interesting that most Americans can't pronounce, and then you have Jesse Jackson.
I don't believe, sir, I've ever run into anybody who had a problem pronouncing the name Dukakis. Many of them can't spell it, but then, hell, many of them can't spell common words either.
Well, and then you have Jesse Jackson, who, it seems the English language is a foreign language to him. Why not an America for Americans with Americans in office? That's the problem.
What foreign language does Jesse Jackson speak, sir?
I don't know, but certainly he has difficulty with the English language.
Well, there are many people in this country that would find your accent hideous.
Well, if you speak the truth...
So does that make you less, does that make you less of an American because there are people that would be somewhat put off with your accent?
I would prefer to have Americans in office, whether they're in little towns, from the courthouse all the way to the White House.
When have we ever had a non-American in office in this country? In any elected office? Has there ever been one instance of a non-American holding elective office in this nation?
Well, we probably came close to it when Kissinger...
Sir, let's cut the crap, okay? And so that we don't get involved in semantics with Americans and non-Americans and things of that nature, let's just get right down to it. You don't want no spics, niggers, or Jews in office, correct?
We don't want anyone that is not part of the American...
You don't want no spics, niggers, or Jews in office, correct, sir?
We don't want anyone that's not part of the American...
Sir, do you want spics in office?
Well,
yes or no?
If you...
Yes or no, sir?
I'm not going to demean
Yes
people.
or no, sir?
I'm not going to demean
come on,
people.
sir. You make your living demeaning people. Don't give me that crap.
I don't want to be hateful or mean toward anybody.
Sir, do you want any spics in office? Sir, do you want any spics in office? Yes or no?
Why can't we speak...
Sir, do you want any niggers in office? Yes or no?
I don't want to demean people.
Sir, do you want any Jews in office? Yes or no? Why are you ashamed of your views, sir?
I'd say again.
Why are you ashamed of your views?
Well, I wouldn't be speaking before the entire world here in Atlanta. I'm the keynote speaker at the rally here on the Capitol steps, and I would...
Sir, radio station WGST. Sir, radio station WGST, a news and talk operation in Atlanta. Didn't even know you were in town.
They didn't know I was in town.
No, sir, they didn't.
Well, they interviewed me, so I guess they must have known.
Well, sir, it's our sister station. It's owned by the same people that own this radio station. We just spoke to them like 5-10 minutes before going on the air today, and they had never heard of you.
They never heard of it?
No.
Well, I was on WGST. In fact, I walked off the station when they continually were interrupting me. I was on for about 20 minutes, and when they wouldn't let me speak, I decided that I would walk off the station, which I did. I know you're giving me a little more chance, but I would appreciate being able to speak, certainly.
I would appreciate your answering my questions.
All right, what's the question?
Do you want spics, niggers, or Jews to hold office in this country?
Well, I resent offensive words against ethnic minorities. So I just, I don't think we need hate and fear in this campaign.
Sir, would you like any Hispanics, any Negroes, or people of the Jewish faith to hold office in this country?
I don't want people that are outside of the American mainstream.
Sir, that's a real simple, easy question to answer. Do you want any Hispanics, any Negroes?
No.
No Hispanics, no Negroes, no Jews.
No, we
in
want
public
the
office.
Civil Rights Acts and the Voting Rights Acts repealed so the American people can buy and sell, live and work, hire and fire, vote or not vote in freedom.
Well, let's see if we can determine exactly who an American is. Would somebody of English ancestry be an American?
Certainly, if they're born in this country.
Would somebody of German extraction be an American?
European assimilable groups. You emphasize assimilable, meaning can become part of the American culture.
Would somebody of Italian heritage be considered an American?
Say again?
Would someone of Italian heritage be considered an American?
Well, I think, Bob, the question would be, would they consider themselves?
Sir, I'm asking you, do you consider someone of Italian heritage to be an American?
Well, we had at our banquet.
Sir, please answer my question. Do you consider someone of Italian heritage to be an American? Yes or no?
Let me answer the question.
I'm asking you to answer it.
We had a Tony Imperiale, who is an Italian leader from New Jersey, former state senator, speak at our banquet. He spoke very eloquently against quotas. He spoke against affirmative action, and...
So Italian Americans are Americans?
I consider him a great American.
So Italian Americans are Americans?
Well, they consider themselves Italians. He spoke to me. He said, our Italian culture and our Italian heritage. You know what I said? I said, Tony, God bless you that you can be an Italian in America. And that's what I say to Jesse Jackson. Get down on your knees and be thankful. If you want to be an African, God bless you, but be thankful you're in America. Don't tear it down.
Don't tear it down, sir?
Right.
How is trying to make America equal for all Americans tearing it down?
Well...
Are you so inferior that you could not compete against a black man? Is that your fear? Or God, worse yet, against a Jew? Are you that inferior?
We had a little noise in the background. Say it one more time, Bob.
Are you so inferior that you fear competing against a black or a Jew or a Hispanic?
Well, I think maybe the people that have given us the quotas and the affirmative action must have feared the American people, or they wouldn't have these privileges. If we could abolish the privileges, if we could allow the American people...
Sir, as a lawyer, you well know, or should know, I assume that your law degree is not out of a Cheerios box.
Right.
You should know there are no privileges for any Americans. There are situations and instances where it can be clearly demonstrated in a court of law that there has been a pattern of discrimination. Quotas have been set to reverse the discrimination.
Is the law of the people. That's the foundation of our government. In Mississippi, just to give you one example, they recently set aside 15% of jobs for non-whites.
Why, sir? Because the federal courts found that there had been a history of discrimination. Correct, sir?
Well, in America,
correct, sir.
American people have a right to buy and sell as
Is that correct, sir? Is my statement correct?
Say again?
Is my statement correct?
I don't recognize that the American people don't...
You do not recognize the courts in this country, sir?
Freedom.
You do not recognize the courts in this country?
Not if they're acting against the Constitution. The first flag of this country was an appeal to heaven, the pine tree flag.
Sir, I don't know where it says in the Constitution that you as an American have a right to bypass the courts. It says in the Constitution that you as an American, as you should well know if indeed your law degree is legitimate, it says that you have the right to address grievances to the court.
No, you're talking about the Declaration of Independence, which says that we have the right to alter or abolish the government if it becomes tyrannical. And that's frankly what we're doing now in Atlanta. We're holding a counter-convention in order to redress the grievances and to change.
Would you mind repeating that section of the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah, it says that we have the right to alter or abolish the government if it becomes
So you're trying to abolish the government, sir?
That's correct. That's the direct quote, yeah.
You are trying to abolish the government?
No, I say we have the right to.
And you would like to?
Well, you said, do we have a right to bypass the courts?
Now I'm asking you, would you like to abolish the government?
Would I want to abolish it?
Yes, sir.
I would rather abolish the tyranny first.
But you would be in favor of abolishing the government.
We have the right, as Americans...
You would be in favor of abolishing the government. You would be in favor of abolishing the government if they did not meet your criteria, correct?
Well, Bob, if we hadn't abolished the government in 1776, we'd still have a king. Some people now want to have Martin Luther King as perhaps a king over us, and we...
Sir, he's dead.
Well, he's...
So who wants to have Martin Luther King, sir, coronated king?
Well...
No one, correct, sir? No one, correct, sir? No one, correct, sir? I assume that most of your followers don't realize that Martin Luther King is dead, but most of my listeners do.
Well, let me give you an example where he's not dead. Hosea Williams, in the name of Martin Luther King, invaded Forsyth County, Georgia last year, and that's when the Nationalist Movement
No, sir, he didn't invade Forsyth County, Georgia. What he did is he walked through it, just like any American is entitled to do.
15,000 people. He had Sam Nunn there, and he had Jesse Jackson, the rest of them. And they were demanding that land be taken away from the people and given to...
No, sir, that's not at all what they demanded.
That is exactly
No, it's not. No, sir, it's not even close to what they demanded. Sir, what they demanded was that blacks not be prohibited from purchasing or living in.
No, I'm sorry. They had a list of demands that said that land should be taken away from the whites and given to the non-whites. You ask me where government has become tyrannical and where Martin Luther King is living today.
Sir, that's not exactly, again, not exactly an accurate statement. I believe what you are referring to is the public housing.
No, he wanted the actual land taken
Sir,
away
you
from
are
whites.
full of crap.
Well, I said the same
You're
thing to
a
him.
bald-faced liar.
No, that was one of the demands.
No, it wasn't one of the demands, sir. One of the demands was that the public housing project go ahead.
In fact, they sent people down to the courthouse to check the records to find out what land had been owned by Negroes 100 years ago, and they wanted that land to be given back to the NAACP or some of these other people.
Are you referring to the land, sir, that might have been stolen?
Well, now, you were just saying that it never took place. I'm telling you it did.
No, sir. There's a big difference between asking for the return of land that may have been stolen, isn't there? As opposed to just demanding that land be given to them.
Well, again, you talk
I mean,
about
when your car is stolen, sir, when your car is stolen and the police recover it,
Bob,
they return it to you. They don't give it to you.
If the land was stolen, then we'll talk about it. I haven't seen that.
Well, I suppose that's because it hasn't gone to court yet.
Okay. Well, let me put it this way. He did go to court. He sued the Forsyth County Defense League, which was an affiliate of the Nationalist Movement, and he claimed that we discriminated against all the non-whites of the state of Georgia, and we were an oppressive organization. He lost that suit. We won it, and we were able to establish that not only is he the liar, but that every allegation Jose Williams and his whole Black Power invader crowd was wrong. Now, that's judicial justice for you.
Well, I believe, sir, what is, again, a tad closer to the truth, to the actual facts, is that Mr. Williams wanted the records open to determine if the land had indeed been stolen.
Well, he sued Jose Williams versus the Forsyth County Defense League. He claimed that we had discriminated against all the Negroes of Georgia and that we were...
Well, now you're talking about something else, sir.
No,
if you want to go back to the land issue, I believe he was interested in getting the records open to determine if land had been stolen. And if land had been stolen, then would have sued for the return of that land to its proper owners.
Well,
correct, sir?
He did sue us, he lost, and I think that brands him as the liar before the world. But now, instead of just calling names, let's just talk about love of America here in Atlanta instead of preference for minorities. Let's talk about youth that have a future, not laborers that wonder, are they or their children even going to be able to work in the steel mills of Pittsburgh or in the...
There aren't any steel mills in Pittsburgh, sir.
Of Detroit.
There aren't any steel mills in Pittsburgh. I used to live there.
Well, is anyone going to have a job without quotas? That's the question. If the Democrats go in...
There aren't any quotas in steel mills, are there, sir?
Well, the Kaiser Aluminum case is a very good case in point. Weber versus Kaiser Aluminum, that was like a steel plant. And
like a steel plant, I think.
Fire white workers in order to put unqualified Negroes in the jobs. I think that's
I don't believe there is a document in the world, sir, that says anything like that, does it?
That was the Weber case versus Kaiser Aluminum. Yes.
And it says that they should fire white workers to put unqualified Negroes in...
That is correct.
No, it isn't correct, sir.
It is correct.
It may be your interpretation, but it isn't what it says, is it, sir?
No, they had tests.
It isn't what it says, sir, is it?
That showed that the whites...
It isn't what it says, sir, is it? It may be your interpretation of what it says, but it isn't what it says.
Let me give you the facts. The facts were
How
that...
refreshing. A fact for a change.
So the whites had more seniority. They had been on the job longer. They were better qualified by some of the tests that they had given, and the court said that if the company wanted to promote Negroes who did not have seniority and did not have the qualifications, they were permitted to do that.
And nowhere did it say that white workers had to be fired.
Well, they were fired because there weren't enough jobs for everybody.
No, sir.
Well, that's what happened. And if you look at Atlanta today, Atlanta at one time was the Athens of the South. It's now a suffocating slum.
The Athens of the South, that was prior to the Civil War.
No, I'm talking about prior to the so-called Civil Rights Acts when they rioted and they looted.
Are you talking about the city that has had something